You know, right now, as we speak, there's a war being fought inside your body. It's this silent, invisible battle happening on a microscopic scale, but believe me, the stakes could not be higher. It's all about your health. So let's pull back the curtain on this hidden battlefield.
No, I'm serious. Right this second, an ancient war is raging inside of you. We're talking about a conflict on a cellular level, with literal armies of defenders fighting off legions of microscopic invaders. So yeah, your body isn't just a temple, it's a full-on battlefield, and that fight never, ever stops.
So what happens when those defenses get breached? Well, that's what we call disease. But it's not just a list of symptoms, right? It's a sign that the invaders have managed to get a foothold, and they're disrupting the incredibly delicate balance that keeps us going, the balance that keeps us alive.
Okay, so who are these invaders anyway? Well, they've got a collective name: pathogens. These are the microscopic bad guys responsible for attacking our bodies and making us sick. So let's take a look at the most wanted list. Think of this as a kind of rogues gallery, okay? Our bodies are up against a huge array of threats, and each one has its own special way of causing trouble.
And our most wanted list is pretty diverse. I mean, we've got everything from tiny single-celled bacteria and these ghost-like viruses to much bigger foes like protozoa, parasitic worms, which are called helminths, and even fungi. It is a formidable lineup for sure.
Let's kick things off with a classic villain: bacteria. Take Salmonella typhi, for example. This is the little mastermind behind typhoid fever. It's sneaky. It gets into our bodies through contaminated food and water, and then it just unleashes chaos. We're talking high fever, weakness, terrible stomach pain. This is not your average bug. It's a really serious invader. And the story of Typhoid Mary is just a chilling, real-world example of how these invisible enemies can spread. Mary Mallon was a cook in New York way back in the early 1900s, and she seemed totally healthy, but she was a silent carrier of typhoid. So everywhere she went to work, outbreaks would just follow. She unknowingly infected more than 50 people, and 3 of them died. It just goes to show how stealthy these pathogens can be.
But here's the thing, not all invaders use the same strategy. Think about the common cold, right? That's caused by a rhinovirus. It basically sets up camp in your nose and your throat, makes you miserable for a few days, and then leaves. But then you have something way more aggressive, like the bacterium Streptococcus pneumonia. It doesn't stop at your throat, oh no. It marches deep into your lungs, filling up those tiny air sacs with fluid. We call that pneumonia, and it is a much, much tougher fight.
And then you get the invaders with truly brilliant and, frankly, terrifying strategies. Check out the malaria parasite. This little protozoan is a master of espionage. It has this complex 2-part plan that needs 2 different hosts to work, a mosquito and a human. It hitches a ride and a mosquito's saliva gets injected into our bloodstream and then makes a beeline for our liver. There, it multiplies in secret before launching a full-on assault on our red blood cells. The result? That horrible cycle of fever and chills that can actually be deadly. It is an absolutely chillingly effective invasion plan.
So with all these unbelievably cunning invaders trying to take us over, how in the world do we even stand a chance? Well, we have our own secret weapon, a super sophisticated elite defense force that is on duty 24/7, and we call it our immune system. Now, our immune system isn't just in one place. It's a whole network of, let's call them military bases, spread all throughout our body. We've got training grounds like bone marrow and the thymus, where our immune cells get created and trained. And then we have command centers like the spleen and lymph nodes, where our defenders meet up to plan their counterattacks. It's a decentralized system, which makes it incredibly tough to take down.
And this system has 2 main strategies. First up is innate immunity. This is our general defense force, the one we're born with. Think of it like the castle walls and the guards at the gate. Then we have acquired immunity. This is our specialized Special Forces unit. It learns, it adapts, and, this is the most important part, it remembers every single enemy it ever fights.
Our innate immunity is like a fortress with all these layers of defense. First, you have the physical walls, our skin, which keeps most things out. Then you've got the booby traps, stuff like stomach acid, a deadly chemical bath for anything that gets swallowed. If an invader gets past those, they face our cellular guards, specialized cells that literally hunt down and eat trespassers. And finally, if one of our own cells does get infected, it sends out a cytokine alarm, a chemical SOS that warns all the nearby cells to raise their shields.
But the real genius, the absolute game changer of our immune system, is its ability to learn. This is where acquired immunity shines, and its secret weapon is memory. The first time our body encounters a new pathogen, the response is kind of slow, a little bit clumsy. It's like fighting an enemy in the dark. But the second time it sees that same invader, oh, it is a whole different ballgame. The system recognizes it instantly and launches a massive, overwhelming counterattack. It's seen this enemy before, and it knows exactly how to win.
And the weapons it uses in this targeted attack, they're called antibodies. These incredible Y-shaped proteins are custom-built to recognize and neutralize one, and only one, specific invader. You can think of them like heat-seeking missiles, each one programmed to find and destroy a single target. It's an unbelievably precise and effective system.
So our immune system is this powerful, brilliant defense force. But what happens when that incredible power gets turned against us? What happens when our greatest protector becomes our biggest problem?
Well, there are two main ways our immune system can go rogue. First, you have allergies. This is basically a case of mistaken identity, where our defenses declare an all-out war on something totally harmless, like pollen or dust. The result is a lot of friendly fire, causing inflammation and making us feel awful. But then there's something even more sinister: autoimmunity. This is when the system completely loses its ability to tell friend from foe and starts attacking our own healthy cells. It's basically a civil war inside your body, and it can be devastating, like in diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis.
But imagine, what if there was an invader so smart that it didn't just evade our defenses, but actually turned them against us? A pathogen that doesn't just fight our immune system, but actively dismantles it from the inside out. Well, that is the terrifying strategy of HIV, the virus that causes AIDS.
So how does HIV pull off this incredible act of sabotage? It's a special kind of virus called a retrovirus. It has this unique and terrifying ability to actually rewrite its own genetic code into our cell's DNA. And it doesn't just infect any cell, it goes straight for the generals of our immune army, the helper T cells. Once it's inside, it hijacks the cell's machinery, turning it into a non-stop virus factory and destroying that general in the process. It's a brilliant and absolutely devastating strategy that can cause the entire immune system to collapse.
Okay, the battle against these pathogens can seem pretty overwhelming, especially when you're up against an enemy as clever as HIV. But here's the good news: we are not defenseless. For centuries, we've been learning how to fight back, how to support our natural defenses, and how to call in some serious reinforcements.
So there are two main ways we can boost our defenses. The first is active immunity. This is where our own body learns how to fight off a pathogen, either by actually getting sick and recovering, or through the miracle of vaccination. It's kind of like studying for a test. It takes time, but that knowledge is long-lasting. The second way is passive immunity. This is a shortcut where we're given ready-made antibodies. It's like getting the answers to the test without having to study. It's super fast and effective, but the knowledge doesn't stick around. A perfect example of this is the immunity a baby gets from its mother.
And this brings us to one of the greatest inventions in the history of medicine: vaccination. The idea is so simple, but it's just brilliant. We introduce a harmless piece of a pathogen into the body. Think of it like a mugshot of the enemy. It's not enough to make us sick, but it is enough to trigger our immune system's memory. It's like giving our special forces a training exercise, so they are 100% prepared for when the real thing shows up. It is a safe and incredibly effective way to protect ourselves from some of the deadliest diseases out there. So, every single day, an epic war is being fought on your behalf. A silent, microscopic battle that keeps you healthy and alive. Your immune system is your own personal army, your guardian, your ultimate defender. So the only question left is, what are you going to do to support your troops?